Shocker? No. Shocker? No. Shocker? No. Shocker? Yes!
It's the daddy of a gun. You might know well. It's a big old brick, so it's hard to tell. SB's back again, so don't be a sap. Let me take you through the shocker rap. It's a closed bolt gun, but is it a poppet? Whatever it is, it's hard to stop it. If it breaks paint, it comes out in spurts. When they shoot you, it's gonna hurt. Shocker! 4x4, swap parts is for the hardcore. It's bigger, slower, and heavier too. It's the Shocker Sport. Time for the review.
Nobody owns a Shocker Sport these days by accident. If you have one, you have your reasons. And people will probably not understand those reasons, just like no one understands why anyone collects stamps. They just do is all. Yeah, this gun's old, but I like old things. I ignore expiration dates willy-nilly because I decide when the ketchup is best by, not you, hunts. Separation is normal. Just shake that shit up! And like fine expired ketchup, the Shocker Sport can get a little runny itself. Usually when it double feeds and shoots two balls into each other like some sort of paintball atom smasher. The Shocker was the first electronic paintball gun ever made, and for being created in the paintball Stone Age, Smart Parts and the gun's original manufacturer, New Ventures, made one hell of a complicated gun. New Ventures had already developed pneumatic devices for the military and even NASA. So of course their creation of an electronic paintball gun had to be more over-engineered than the George Foreman fatty PlayStation 3. The Shocker Sport is a dual solenoid dump chamber utilizing poppet. Utilizing precise timing controls, one solenoid controls the valve operation, and the other, the ram/piston bolt thing. But as far as I know, a small family of gremlins could be living inside and controlling the firing action as there's more than enough space in there for them. It fires from a closed bolt position, and is mechanically capable of speeds approaching 12 balls per second. It has no LPR, and featured the first incarnation of the Smart Parts Max Flow Regulator, which originally came mounted on the bottom line, but the user could use the mounting screws to use it as a foregrip, and my old personal Shocker had it mounted underneath the barrel. It has a double trigger, the same one later used on the first generation Impulses. The two-finger grooves are more for show, as walking the trigger isn't really possible. You're better off doing the period-correct fanning of the trigger technique. To complete the package, it featured a glued two-piece All-American barrel, because all two pieces were glued back then, and because the gardeners were better businessmen than paintball players. If you want a different bore size, buy a new barrel. The freak will be out soon, you know. I hear it's all that. Trying to use the Shocker Sport these days is like trying to watch old YouTube videos from 10 years ago. You really wonder how anyone ever stood watching videos in 4x3 at 240p or worse. You have to take a moment just to decide how to hold the thing. I can make do because it doesn't really matter what gun I shoot. I have the ability to suck with anything. Since this gun had its own proprietary barrel threads that only saw use one more time in the SFT Shocker, I had no way to change the 689 barrel to anything smaller to accommodate for modern paint, so yeah, it's rollout city. Not that it matters, I'm mostly a distraction to the other team when I take the field with this relic. Occasionally, I'll manage to shoot someone, making it all worth it, but mostly I get shot in the face. Even the names of these guns confuse me. I have no idea why the gardeners name every variation of the Shocker after car trim levels.
Come on down to Billy Bob Gardner's used Shockers. We got SFs, we got 4x4s. We're clearing out the sports this weekend to make room for the new turbos coming in winter 99. Buyers before Y2K can get a free sock hat.
I wouldn't dare take this thing apart beyond the bolt because I don't like the look of these non-industry standard Macaline fittings, and futzing with those hoses might make them not seal anymore, but maybe I'm just being overly cautious because there's still plenty of Shocker Sports out there that work. These guns are anywhere from 13 to 17 years old. This one's in its 16th year, and she still works. Hell, I bet its current configuration hasn't been messed with since the Clinton administration. So how does it shoot?
Yeah, walking is just not really working. Oh, barrel coming undone.
It's like a quieter Rainmaker almost, but less savage and more refined. Even though these two guns share little in common besides size and being early Electros, it blows the kiss of death at your enemies while subtly draining your tank of all its air at an alarming rate. Seriously, this gun is lucky to get 600 shots off a 68-45 tank. It's probably the most inefficient gun ever made, but boy is it smooth. I've heard stories of people filling up compressed air tanks with half CO2, half nitrogen, trying to get more shots out of the tank, since CO2 will always get more shots out of the same size tank than compressed air since it's in a liquid state when it's put in. But this is incredibly stupid and dangerous. Don't do it. When I think of the quintessential early Electro, I always think of the shoebox shocker. Modern paintball guns are nothing like it, and yet owe everything to it. Modern paintball tournaments look completely different, but owe the invention of ramping to the shocker as well. You might view that as a good or bad thing on its own. But whatever your opinions on the shocker are, there's no denying that it's important to the sport, and I'm glad the name shocker is being used once again. There's also no denying it's huge, and that expiration dates are a suggestion, not a rule.